What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tribal Talk for episode 6 of Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. I'm Will.
And I'm Brooks.
So, yeah, you want to just dive right into this discussion, Brooks? Welcome back to everyone who's listening. If you're new here, welcome, period. You should go and check out everything else we've done over the past almost 6 months now.
It's our 6 month anniversary.
Aww.
To commemorate the occasion, you should subscribe and
Please.
follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, you should. Or like our tweets on Twitter, like one Chrissy. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm still a little shell shocked that occurred.
Yeah, Chrissy interacts with us on Twitter. Lauren interacts with us on Twitter.
She does.
I think those are the only two people from this season.
Yeah.
We've got some past season people following us too.
Yes.
You know, just it's casual. Us
We
and
love you,
Chrissy,
T-Bird.
we're just cash. It's fine. Just kidding. I love you, Chrissy. So anyway, let's get into episode 6. Will, now I actually really liked this episode. I thought it was edited very nicely. I think I actually thought we were being set up for the Red Tribe to lose, based on what we were seeing from Cole. But it ended up Soko losing again, and I'm not going to twist the knife, Will, but all I'll say is my hot take was right. 2 weeks in a row. Anyway, so
I mean,
let's...
the knife is there, but I didn't disagree with you last week. I was just being hopeful.
Yeah. I mean, I think Allie was a good addition to this season, and I think it'll be interesting without her, because I think she was a contender, but
yeah,
not everyone can win. So, but let's talk about the tribe I believe we saw the least of, which was Levu.
Yeah.
So, Will, we cut to Joe, and we didn't see much of Joe last episode, but this episode, it's all about Joe at Levu. And I gotta say, I think we were shown a little bit of a softer side of Joe, where he was talking about his motivations and his kids. I mean, so Will, am I reading too much into this to think maybe Joe lasts longer than we initially thought? I mean, if they're sort of giving him like, yeah, he's a villain, but he also has good motivations. So I don't know. I'm conflicted on Joe. And then we see him find another idol. And then, so, I mean, I feel like Joe is keen on, I feel like he has good intuition on when to play the idol. I think he's very self-aware. I think he knows how he comes across. I just don't think he cares, which is also a problem. But I don't know. So I think he could very well save himself over the next few tribals, and maybe that's enough to spring him forward a couple more days. I mean, how are you feeling about Joe? Because I know we thought, he'd be gone by now, and yet here he is.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think that you're reading into it too much. I think I mean, there's been a very significant, sorry, I'm moving. I think there's been a very significant lack of Joe as a person in the first 5 episodes, because they wanted us to, to see, I guess, the villainous side of Joe. And I definitely think that this addition right before the merge of Joe kind of being soft definitely does imply that Joe's gonna go at least 3 or 4 tribals into the merge. Like, not like go home then. I think he's gonna go like he's gonna survive at least 3 or 4 of the first tribals in the merge, potentially even further. I don't think that it really increases his odds at winning. I think he's been compared a lot to Tony, and they humanized Tony very early in Kagayan, and I think that we've just kind of had this very static, villainous Joe edit for so long that I think we're going to see maybe Joe become an underdog, and who's going to root for a villainous underdog. So, like, you have to make him at least a little bit likable. But I definitely don't disagree. I think that Joe is very intuitive, and I think he's really smart, and I think he's definitely going to be able to save himself, probably at the expense of a few people that we really want around. But like that's that's Survivor. That's what happens. So
Yeah, and as okay as I would have been if Joe had went in the pre-merge, I feel like this season needs a villain because I don't think we really necessarily have one right now. And just as much as you need people to root for, you need people to root against.
Yeah.
So, not that I'm not necessarily rooting against Joe per se. I'm sort of conflicted. I don't think I think he's played way too aggressively so far. Although since Alan has been gone, he's sort of mellowed out. But I mean, I'm not sure how he's going to react to the other personalities that are left. Like what's he going to do when he and Ryan, I mean, not Ryan, Ben, get together? I mean, are he and Ben gonna butt heads? I don't know. I don't know what'll happen, but
I want you to imagine Joe and Lauren interacting. Just imagine it right now.
That's another good thing. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Joe does well with people who are calm. But Alan was not calm, and I feel like Lauren and Ben aren't afraid to speak their minds when someone's getting on their nerves. So that will be interesting. Now, Will, let me ask you this: should we take issue with the immunity idol being hidden in virtually the exact same spot on every beach?
I think that's such a weird question because, like, yes, we should, because it allows people to obtain multiple idols. As we've seen, Joe has now found his second one because it's in the exact same location. But, like, technically, Joe didn't just go there. Whereas, like, Jessica and Mike just went to the well because they knew that was where it was going to be. At least Joe pretended that he thought it could be in a different position. But, like, you also have to think that the goal, or at least, like, the idea would be that everyone would find their respective tribe idols before the swap happens. Technically, like, they're all there at the same time. And so putting them in a different location in each camp would be, like, potentially disadvantageous for people on other tribes. You know what I mean? Like, you have to give everyone on each tribe the same opportunity that the other people have. Like, you can't change the variables if you're going to make the experiment work correctly. So, like, if you hide one idol at the well and then you hide one idol, like, in this, like, under this rock in the middle of the woods, and then you hide this other idol, like, buried under the ocean, then, like, one of those is going to be significantly easier to find, which is going to give, like, the 6 people on that tribe a better chance at finding the idol than the, like, 6 people on the other tribe. So, like, you have to put them in the same place. So that, I'm not really answering your question. So, like, no, we can't be mad, but, like, it is frustrating.
I guess my only issue with it really is because in this scenario, like, he found it on one beach, then the swap happens, and he goes and finds it in the same spot virtually. I think it was like like a difference of a foot or something like that. So I guess it's just a thing of, like, someone having too much power. Because, I mean, what if, like, say, the merged beach was at the Red Tribe's beach, and hypothetically speaking, Mike
Yeah.
didn't find it, Joe could just go back to that same spot and he would have found
Right.
all three idols. I guess that's my point, is
Right.
that I feel like, I mean, they haven't done that in past seasons, so I'm like, are we getting lazy with the idol hiding?
Because they did it in Game Changers too, because that's
Yeah.
how Ty found so many idols. And I think that that's something they did really well in Second Chance, was keeping the location of idols very different, very interesting, and they definitely haven't done that since then. I mean, Millennials versus Gen X was a little different, and it could just be like, I don't know. Maybe it's laziness. Maybe it's we want these idols to be played, and so we're gonna make it interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
They hid them in fairly obvious spots. I mean,
yeah,
if I was out there, because it's at the well,
it's at the
right?
well, yeah, and it's been at the
The
well both seasons.
I mean, the well is one of the first places I would look. The
Yeah,
well in Tree Mail.
right,
It's usually around there somewhere,
right,
unless you find a clue that says otherwise. But
yeah,
uh, it just, I mean, I realized people on the blue and the red tribes had just an equal opportunity in the first few days to
yeah,
go dig and find it, but at the same time, it just seems like it's too easy to find an idol.
yeah. And I think maybe the idea this time was that finding the clue is so difficult because it's just like painted on a tree in the middle of the woods. They're like, maybe that's the part that's challenging. But if you're gonna hide them in the same place, then like it doesn't really matter how difficult the clue is, because you don't even need the clue to find the thing. They just dig around the well and you'll find it.
I just don't want it to be another case of someone has too much
Right.
power, like Ty last season,
Yeah.
saving himself and Aubrey in that final tribal, and someone went home who did not receive any votes.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think they'll probably merge onto the Yawa Beach, right? Because Yawa has the most people. And so fortunately that idol's already been found at the well. I guess let's just fingers crossed that they don't hide the merged idol at the well. Like surely they wouldn't do that. That wouldn't make any sense for them to hide it back in the original position.
if they do, then I really have a problem. But
Yeah. Maybe they'll put them on a new beach. Can we do like let's take a slight pause from the episode discussion. Can we like request that CBS start putting the merged tribe on a brand new beach and make them start over? All right, sorry, unpause.
I'm sure the contestants would not appreciate that, Will. um, anyway, so let's talk about what else happened on Levu. Devin and Ashley are becoming quite the pair.
Yeah.
Has Devin replaced JP for Ashley Will?
We're about to find out.
Is JP going to be jealous of Devin?
Odds are probably not. I don't know that he has that emotion.
We are assuming JP is capable of
feeling jealousy,
projecting emotion.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that the swap was really good for the two of them in terms of their association with one another. And I think that Ashley is smart enough not to reassociate herself with JP in the manner that she was originally. So I do think that Devin has replaced JP. Yes. Do I think that matters a whole lot? No. It's more of the same, really.
Well, I think JP will still work with Ashley.
Absolutely. I think they're all going to work together.
Yeah.
But I think Devin is her new number one.
And has Ashley replaced Ryan for Devin, Will? Tougher question,
no.
I think.
No, she hasn't. Should she have? Like, should she? Yes. Has she? No.
And Devin is the only other one who knows about the Super Idol, so it'll be interesting. I'm assuming he and Ryan and Chrissy will sort of have a three-person thing possibly going on, because I think once he sees that Allie's been voted out, he'll see, Chrissy is the real deal, evidently. So, at least as far as them working together for the uh, first episode, we'll see what happens after that. But so Devin and Ashley are trying to flip Desi into voting out Joe. I guess they showed us this to more like, trick us into which tribe would lose, because I don't think in the end that conversation really matters going forward, because I
Right.
think once Desi is reunited with her healers,
She doesn't need Joe anymore, or Devin and Ashley.
right. So I'm not going to read too much into it. Desi may not even be here after the next episode.
Yeah.
That's a hot take we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not gonna read too much into that.
I do think though, I don't think they would have shown it if it wasn't important, and I think maybe the importance of that was to demonstrate that. I know we talked about this last week, and we were like, surely this is a red herring, but like, I think that Devin and Ashley genuinely would have gone to rocks if Desi hadn't flipped. You know what I mean? Like, I think that maybe that's the significance of that, was to just show that like these two people are genuinely tight with each other going into this merge, which is potentially game changing.
Makes sense to me.
And it could also set Desi up to get the boot, because like once Joe finds out that she's willing to flip, then like she's gonna be in trouble.
Yeah. Who's to say Joe works with the healers? I mean, to me, Joe is sort of a lone wolf at the moment. I'm not sure who he would actually work with, because I don't think he necessarily trusted the people on his tribe. But
Right.
we'll see how it goes. So let's move on to Yawa, the Red Tribe, and Cole has continued his poor portrayal.
Yeah, that poor boy. He had a rough time out there, didn't he?
I think he pissed someone off in the production, because they're just like, give this guy the worst edit of anyone ever. Because I mean, this is like a record of like 5 episodes straight that he's been portrayed negatively.
Yeah, he has been the butt of the joke for 5 consecutive episodes.
I mean, you get this whole thing like Dr. Mike is like helping provide food, and he's sharing, and everyone's appreciative, and then you see Cole and he's eating by himself selfishly, and so Lauren,
and like, it's bad if you pass out like from potential starvation. You like pass out because you're hungry, and they still make that look bad on you. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. I mean, he freaking passed out. I thought it turned out not being as bad as we thought it was going to be. To me, it looked like he was almost going to have a seizure, but I'm glad he didn't, because I don't like anyone to get medically evacuated, but I like people to be voted out and have their dreams crushed. But I feel like this whole thing of like, and even Ben said, if he's like this on day 16, how is he gonna make it to day 39? Which is a very good point. And he's this big guy with a bunch of lean muscle, and that does not do well in these in this condition. I mean, people, I would say bigger people probably have an easier time, because they I mean bigger as in like fat. I don't know how else to say that, but
people who are not chiseled.
Right. I mean, because Cole is like a fitness model, and I'm talking like someone like Ben. I mean, he's got like a beer gut, and so he's doing okay. Like he's he's not suffering as much as Cole is. Right. But I understand that Cole has to like eat more because he's a bigger person. And when you have like muscle like that, your body needs protein, and all of a sudden you stop eating it. It's like your body goes into shock almost. And so I was not surprised that he was having issues. Well, do you think this could be alluding to? I mean, I keep going back to that whole comment. How's he going to make it to day 39? Do you think Cole could still potentially get medically evacuated?
You know, that's possible. That's totally possible. And I hadn't thought about that. I more so thought that maybe it was setting us up for him making it to day 39. Um,
Oh, geez.
because like, I don't know, the farther we get into this Cole is the butt of the joke thing, the more like convinced I am that maybe Cole is the goat. And you know, he has to have some kind of story arc. Do you know what I mean? Like this whole everyone hates Cole, like look how dumb Cole is being thing. Like it can't just be shtick. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be going somewhere. And so it could be to a medevac. Like that would be really unsatisfying if they don't resolve it before then. Um, but I think it could also lead to Cole being the goat slash Cole making it to day 39 and trying to argue that like, look what all I've conquered to get here kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I definitely think that there's still a lot of room for Cole to go home because a lot of people still really want him to. But I think his GOAT potential is increasing now that we've made it to the merge.
I think he could probably win himself several immunity challenges because he is the strongest guy out there. Although not every immunity challenge relies on brute strength. But I don't know. We'll see. I want to say, you know, he could be the first one targeted at the
Yeah.
merge, and maybe that's why we're seeing so
Yeah.
much of him because he has a big role coming up, and it
Yeah.
results in him going home because maybe people are threatened just by his size and the challenges. I'm not sure, or maybe they just suspect he doesn't have an idol.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean that's also likely too.
There's a lot of contributing factors, and
Yeah.
he could very well. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, but he could very well still get medically evacuated.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe Caleb actually had a spell before his actual thing that sent him home, if I'm remembering it correctly. I believe he passed out in a. It wasn't in a challenge. It was like at camp or something, and then
Yeah.
he ended up um, going home anyway. But so it happened once, so it could happen again, I guess.
Yeah.
But we shall see. So was that it for the Red Tribe? It was mostly coal related.
Yeah, I think that this was also not Jessica's most shining moment. I think what we saw from Yawa kind of put a separation on this Mike and Jessica relationship that they literally just started last episode. Because Jessica was kind of like, Cole passing out made me realize that I do still want him around and I don't want him to go home. And I think that's not good for her. And I think it's also going to push Mike away. I don't know. I think that this maybe Jessica's
It
had a lot of
could
really good
be
episodes.
it could be to her downfall if that's
Yeah,
true.
I definitely agree.
I mean they're both. I mean, obviously she's the brains of the operation,
Yeah,
but I mean they're both physical threats and challenges for
yeah,
sure. So I mean, if I'm someone like Chrissy or something, I'm gonna be going after them. You
yeah.
know.
And I
So
think, yeah, she's had a lot of really good momentum over the past few episodes, and I think it was kind of a little bit of a stall this time. When she said that, I was very taken aback. I was like, no, I thought we had just said that you were done with this. Why are we going back?
I think she is another one that's a contender to go home uh, next episode. Because I mean, yes, she and Dr. Mike found the idol together, but I feel like Mike has custody of that idol.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure he would play it on her, to be honest, because that whole time we've been seeing him like he has a good relationship with her, but he's also been frustrated with Cole.
Yeah.
To the point that if she won't separate with him, he might just have to let her go or something.
Right, and I definitely think that that's going to depend on how the early interactions of the merge go next episode. Because I think Mike right now feels the most closely aligned with Jessica, and so she would have to like. I think she would have to burn him pretty badly at the merge. Be like, no, like I'm going to work with Cole. Like Cole is my number one, or like make him feel like Cole is her number one. Like she's gonna have to royally screw up at the very beginning of the merge, I think, for him to not try and protect her for at least a couple of votes. But that's also possible. Like it's really possible that all the healers get back together and they're just like, "Hey, let's just do this," and Mike's like, no." And then I mean, like, I don't know. I think she's in danger, but I think she also like she's very on the cusp. You know what I mean? Like I think she's either going to separate herself from Cole and go pretty far, or she's going to not separate herself and probably go home pretty soon. Because we've gotten a lot of her over the past few episodes, and that doesn't always bode well when you get to the merge. Because like some characters have to go home sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think Jessica I don't think we're seeing a lot of her because she wins. I think we're seeing a lot of her because she plays a significant role coming up, and then we won't be seeing much of her after that. I think she'll be a big personality in the post merge, because I think she, of the healers, to me, she's the most threatening.
Yeah.
But as far as like who could win,
yeah,
because I know. I mean, I know Joe is a threat, but he's not a threat necessarily because he's a good player.
Right.
Because I think he has done some self-sabotage. Yeah. But she, on the other hand, is she's harder to read, I think.
Yes.
And I feel like you can predict Joe's moves more, whereas you can't really predict her. So I think that's what makes her a big threat. So
right. I also get shades of Kelly Wentworth from her though. So like I don't know. It's just very hard to predict with her because she's been so off and on with this whole Cole thing. I don't know.
Did you hear that?
I did indeed.
Oh, sorry. Hashtag dorm live.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I think I don't know. I really like Jessica still. I want this Cole nonsense to stop. Like I need her to remove herself before it ruins her game. Because I still don't think she's going to win. Like let the record show. I don't think a healer is winning. So like I'm not banking on Jessica winning or anything. I just think that she has really good potential to go far if she gets away from him.
One of them's gonna get voted out soon.
Yeah.
I feel it. Because there is no way. Because to me, they're not hiding their relationship at all. Yeah. They have their little time on the beach, and everybody notices. They go out on their little fishing trips, and everybody notices. So people are going to be wanting to split that up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but
yeah.
I sense stormy waters ahead for our lovers in paradise.
Yeah.
So, anyway, any other final thoughts on Yawa, Will?
I also think that this episode was good for Lauren. We didn't get that much from her in terms of confessionals. Again, I don't know. It's just like the vibe of watching her interact on her tribe. And like, she had this really good moment with Jeff where she was like, pretending to take the idol back and like not give it to him at the beginning of the immunity challenge. That was really funny, and we haven't really gotten any funny from Lauren. And so I don't know. There are really subtle signs in the editing with her. Like when Cole passed out and everyone was babying him, they like highlighted Lauren literally just sitting there looking at him. Like I don't know. There's just very subtle things in the edit that I think worked in Lauren's favor this episode to kind of make her more likable. So I don't know. I'm digging Lauren right now, and I think this episode was another good one for her, even though we're not really seeing a whole lot.
Lauren is stone cold, and I love it. I think she's a great personality. She reminds me. She is so old school to me.
Yeah.
There's something about her that is very like it just takes me back to like the first couple of seasons. She's like the female version of Frank from Africa to me. Frank, for those of you who don't remember or haven't seen Africa, Frank is basically like uh, the Clint Eastwood of Survivor. Just always frowning, always serious, uh, always the best one-liners. And to me, that's Lauren this
Yeah.
season. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm enjoying Lauren. She's a very old school personality. Not sure she has the social skills to win, but I am enjoying her.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's move on to the stars of episode 6. Soko, who are dwindled down just 4 people. First off, there's no room to hide, really.
No.
So after the Rourke vote out, Ryan and Allie have their powwow. Allie's saying, "You should have told me," and Ryan's sort of saying, "You were too close to her." So it's this back and forth, which we saw it coming. I mean, they showed it in the preview pretty much.
Yeah.
So we knew there would be some blowout from that. And Allie is saying she's gonna have a hard time ever trusting him 100% again. So it's interesting for a pair that seemed so close in the beginning, and then obviously they lose and she gets voted out. So, Will, let me ask you this. When they lost, the Hustlers tribe lost the second time.
Yeah.
Should Allie have kept her alliance with Patrick and voted out Ryan or Devin?
Yes. So I unfortunately, like, the options that time were Patrick or Lauren, but like I think we even talked about this in that episode recap, and I said like the move it should have been Allie, Patrick, and Lauren taking out either Ryan or Devin, because that was the correct move.
Because I feel like obviously voting out Patrick, I feel like has come back to haunt her.
Yes.
Because Patrick, and again, I'm glad it happened, because I don't like people that know each other playing together. So I'm glad that happened.
Right.
But I feel like she could have convinced Lauren to vote out either Devin or Ryan. So
I agree.
I feel like maybe that was her first mistake.
Yeah.
And we just didn't see it then. But now I'm sure she has thought about this since spending her time back at home now. She's probably like, should have voted that guy out on Dana. So I was just interested to get your opinion on that, because I was thinking that too. I was like, if Patrick was still around, Allie would probably still be in the game. But
I mean, like, and all that's situational, because like obviously say they voted out Devin, then like if the swap happens the same way and you just put Patrick in Devin's place, then like Allie would still go home on Soko because Ryan's still in the game. Do you know what I mean? So it's all situational. So like it might not have been game changing if she swapped Patrick for Devin. If she had swapped Patrick for Ryan, then like that's potentially game changing. So it's all just like there are just so many things that can happen that like you can't really predict it. But I think that that's one of those things where like absolutely she should have gotten rid of either Ryan or Devin instead of Patrick at that time.
Oh yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but I'm sure she has since thought about that. It's like, probably shouldn't have voted out Patrick, even though I'm glad she did, for obvious reasons. So, I gotta say though, Will, I did not think once tribal council came around, I did not think Allie was going home. I
Mhm.
was like, wow, they got me here. JP's going home.
Yeah.
And
You know
so
why? Do you know why? Because that's what should have happened. Because you were thinking like a logical Survivor player. Anyway, sorry. Continue. Continue. Continue.
but it was just the way it was framed, like JP. I mean, they even quoted JP saying they'd never get rid of me, and uh, I mean, he was the one who's leading uh, who's helping them win the challenge and all that. So
Mhm.
it was clever of them. Although to me, it didn't make sense for Chrissy to vote out JP, so I knew that
Right.
wasn't going to happen. I figured maybe they tie and maybe it goes to rocks. I thought that could have happened. Um, but of course, I predicted last week Allie would indeed go home. Um, we don't have to rekindle this argument from last week, but I just think her worst move was joining up with Rourke.
Yeah.
That I mean, people can say, Ryan's a snake and all that stuff, but Ryan is, I think, I mean, voting out Allie was the best move for him in that moment, because I think Allie, if Allie makes the merge, she's saying, "Screw you, Ryan. I can't trust you at all, and I don't like Chrissy, so I'm flipping to the other side." That's
Mm,
what I see
well,
happening.
I don't know because I think that what we saw in this episode was that like Allie got over that pretty quickly. Not over the Ryan thing, but like I think Allie would have. I told you this earlier. I do think that Allie actually would have worked with Chrissy, like weirdly enough. And I said that last week when Ryan was like, "I'm working with two people who would never work with each other," and I was like, "Well, but like, did you try? Because they probably would. Like, they're both very gamey, and so they're both willing to work with whoever gets them further in the game. And so like, I think Allie would have played with Chrissy, but I don't think she would have played with Ryan. And I think that's because Ryan just, I don't know. And I'm sure we were going to get to him eventually in this little segment, but like, I think Ryan has misplayed like a lot. I think he's misplayed a lot over the past few episodes. Not because he's making the wrong moves. Like, obviously, getting rid of Rourke was the best move for him. Getting rid of Allie may have been the best move for him this episode, but I think the minute that Ryan put all of his trust and faith in Chrissy was like the minute that he gave up. And I don't think he knows that he's given up, but like he is going, like she's going to take him out. Like the writing's on the wall. Like Chrissy is going to have Ryan voted out, and it's going to happen, and he's going to be pissed about it, and he's going to be bitter because he's not going to see it coming because he's been stabbing all of these people for her this entire time. Like Allie, one of his number ones, and he just like jumped ship for Chrissy, and he knew Allie for longer. Do you know what I mean? Like he's letting Chrissy keep her soldiers at the expense of his.
Which sort of speaks to how good Chrissy is as a player
Right, but
for
like
putting him in that little bit of delusion there.
right, it's just frustrating to watch because like voting Allie out, while it may have been the best move because she didn't trust him, like it shouldn't have been the best move because she should have trusted him because he should have been honest with her. Do you know what I mean? Like he shouldn't have just ditched her for Chrissy. Like it's a bad move. Like I think it's gonna ruin his game.
I think I I feel like he voting out Allie this episode was his best move,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's a lose-lose situation. If Allie
Yeah.
stays, Allie flips and is probably coming guns a-blazing for him.
Right.
In
Well, he
my
should
in
have.
my view,
Yeah. No, I
um,
agree. He should have told her about the Rourke vote. I think he should have.
and
I think he should have approached her. She would have voted out Rourke, and then she would have trusted him still. Do you know what I mean? And then it wouldn't have been an issue to keep her around because she still would have been with him. I think he just handled that situation incorrectly because he wanted to one be the swing vote, and two wanted to prove to Chrissy like you can trust me, you can't trust her. Do you know what I mean? Like I think he wanted to be in a power position, and I think it's going to hurt him in the long run because now what power does he have? He doesn't have anyone at all other than Devin from his original tribe. And then he has Chrissy, who has so many more people than him. So like he's automatically outnumbered. Like she's not going to go to the end with him.
And I would say, I feel like uh, they should really take out the reward challenges because I think it sucks up time. Because I feel like we need to see more of his and Chrissy's relationship.
Yeah.
If it is as strong as it appears to be, at least in his view,
Right.
because he just voted out his one of his closest allies since the beginning
Hmm.
for Chrissy, who, I mean, he's known her.
6 days at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, he only knew Allie for 9, I guess. But still, the people you make the early bonds with are usually the ones you go
Right.
far with, usually. But it was, I feel like more time could have been spent showcasing that
Yeah.
because I'm sure obviously there has to be something there. Either Chrissy
Right.
is working him to make him feel secure or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're suffering, we're not being shown enough of that. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people who are just, casually viewing this are going, why did he just vote out Allie over someone he has known for a lesser time? So
Yeah.
I wish we were given more context to their relationship because so far
Right.
all we've seen is like they bonded over him trying to save her on the first day. To me,
Right.
that's not enough.
No.
I need to
Mm-mm.
see more. I'm assuming.
Especially, well, right. Especially because they followed that scene immediately with Chrissy saying, "Good, another person I can use to get myself to the end." Like, I don't know. I feel like the writing's been on the wall for this pair since the minute they introduced it.
It was one of the first interactions or one of the first events, I should say, of the season, and that may be like a major highlight of the season,
Yeah.
depending on how it goes down. If someone betrays someone else, and
Yeah.
that could that could be interesting. Maybe something dramatic at like the
Oh no, did you freeze?
Henry David,
Huh? I didn't hear any of that.
sort of like Hannah flipping
Okay.
on David.
Yeah. I think it could. I have a theory, and like, I don't know if we want to save that for. I mean, I guess we're almost at the end anyway. Um, I think that it might happen around the final seven area. I think we might be right now um, pushing ourselves toward a Ryan, Devin, Ashley versus Chrissy, Ben, Lauren, JP situation. Or Dr. Mike. I think JP and Dr. Mike would be interchangeable in that situation. I think we might be driving towards something along those lines.
Possibly. And it'll be interesting to see once Devin and Ryan rekindle,
Yeah,
and Chrissy and Ben rekindle, because
yeah,
we can't forget they had a thing going on, and
right.
I don't think that's over.
No, I think
Uh,
those two will be the only pre-swap relationships that rekindle when we get back to the merge.
yeah. So, um, again, the person who comes out on top on all of this is Chrissy.
Yeah, every
I feel
time.
like, what'd you say?
Oh, I just said every time.
Every time, I'm telling you, there's something to this.
Mhm.
Either either she lost and they are setting her up because they want her to play again at some point, or she wins it.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I'm saying.
I really hope she wins it because we've seen so much of her gameplay and like not even just the big stuff. Like we've seen a lot of her subtle things that if she ever comes back, she's going home pre-merge. So like I really hope she wins this time. That's not
Yeah,
me saying that I ever want to see Chrissy go home pre-merge. It's just like if she comes back, people are gonna know she's a threat, so they're not gonna let her go deep. So like I really hope she wins this
I
time.
wouldn't let her get past the pre-merge.
Mm-mm. First boot. Oh no! Oh no! I think, are we still live? I'm pretty sure that we're still live. Um, Sorry guys, Brooks's internet at school will sometimes act up. Are you back? I think, oh goodness.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, you're still here.
Yes.
Okay,
Something went wrong.
that's okay. You're back. Your face isn't, but your voice is.
It's this.
Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry. It's either yours or mine connection.
Yeah, I mean, mine's
I
okay
guess that
right
means we
now.
should. It's probably mine. I guess that means we should wrap this up soon.
Yeah.
So we were pretty much done anyway.
Yeah.
So Will, who's your best and worst player of the week?
Okay. Um, Man, I I think I'm gonna have to go with my best player of the week is Chrissy for manipulating Ryan so well over the past 3 episodes. I think my worst player is probably Ryan for kind of shooting himself in the foot over the course of the past 3 episodes. I'm trying to like not think about it as just this episode because I don't really think we had someone play poorly this episode. I think everyone that they kind of highlighted was playing pretty well. Um, but I think, how about this? My best player of the pre-merge is Chrissy. Um, I don't think Ryan is my worst player. No, Cole is the worst player pre-merge. But like, I think in terms of people who are actually trying to play the game, Ryan, he's still not the worst. I'm gonna keep saying I'm gonna keep with Ryan for now, for at least this episode. But like maybe pre-merge would be Joe or something. I don't know.
So my best player is gonna be Chrissy. She's slaying the game. She got Ryan to vote out his one of his closest allies, so she must be doing something right.
Yeah.
And her image is still intact. Um, Worst player, gonna have to give it to Cole again. He's not. He's just the hole keeps getting bigger that he's
Yeah.
just digging himself into. So
Mhm.
talk about the preview for next week. It's the merge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw lots of scrambling.
There's lots of scrambling, although I'll say it's gonna be a more predictable vote out than
Yeah.
at least for the first one. I
Yeah.
think a healer's gonna go home.
Yes.
I don't think it's gonna be Joe or Mike because they both have idols and
Yep.
could save themselves. And I think they're sort of keen on the idols.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say contenders are Cole, Jessica, and Desi.
Hmm.
Based on storylines, I would say Desi is the most expendable.
Yes.
So, and I think no one is going to expect Desi to whip out an idol.
No.
And theoretically, Cole or Jessica could win immunity, just
Yeah.
theoretically. So I'm going to call Desi. It's not the most interesting vote out, but I think they're going to play it safe in this. I think it's going to be like Game Changers. The first when they voted out Haley, it was very safe.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna continue. What do you think, Will?
I agree. I think it's very telling that we saw everyone scrambling in the preview slash heard Cole's name mentioned. I don't think we saw him scrambling, but like we heard his name. We saw and slash heard of everyone except for Desi in the preview for next episode, as far as I'm aware. So like I don't think that bodes well for her. I think that odds are if there are 11 characters and only 12 people left, that 12th person's probably not going to be around for very long. Um, And I think that the other 11 have been given so much more substance that she is either going home next week or the week after. Um, so I'm going to say Desi for next week, only because I really don't want Jessica to go home next week.
Yeah, I see heroes and hustlers teaming up against the
Yeah.
healers, at least for the first vote.
Potentially
Healers
the first
just,
four.
uh, I don't necessarily see a Pagangan going on, but I think at least
Okay.
for the first vote, because
Yeah.
they are still 5 people strong,
Yeah.
and hustlers have 3 and heroes have 4. So, I mean, it's 7-5. So I think they have the advantage, and I
Yeah.
think healers, at least for the first vote, one of them's gone.
Yeah.
We could be totally off, but I'm I'm on a streak here, Will. So I'm gonna say Desi.
I agree. I think Desi's going home next week.
Yeah, if not Desi, definitely a healer for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be either Jessica Cole or Desi next week. I really hope that it's either Desi or Cole, but I think it's probably Desi. Although first merge boot normally does get a storyline, so like it could be Cole next week and then Desi the week after.
Possibly.
I think that Desi, Cole, and Joe are probably the first 3 people going home in the merge. Although JP also got a really weird edit this episode, so like throw him in there.
JP is the kin. I'm calling it now. Anywho, that's gonna do it for our episode 6 recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Tribal Talk. And we will see you next time. Bye bye.